Yo, what's good everyone? Today I'm going to be breaking down some of my favorite tournament or GPP plays for this Week 8 NFL DraftKings main slate. Let's dive right into it. And as always everyone, I'm going to give you a high-level overview of my cheat sheet, breaking down some of my favorite tournament plays here for this Week 8 NFL DraftKings main slate. But as always everyone, I cannot recommend enough joining my free Discord channel. You can see that mentioned above. We have over 800 people in there talking NHL, NBA, NFL DFS, as well as some of their favorite sports bets. If you want to join that, there's a link to do so in the description below, as well as in the pinned comment below. With that being said, let's dive into this cheat sheet here. We're going to kick it off with a couple of game stacks that I like for this week, starting with the Miami Dolphins. Tua is back, and this couldn't be a better spot for them against the Arizona Cardinals defense. And I just look at the prices, everyone. We got Tua here at $6,100, Devon Achane at $6,200, Tyreek Hill $7,000. If you want to go with Jalen Waddle at $5,300, put him in the other wide receiver spot, I have no problem with that. I like running it back there with James Conner. He should have the most success against that defense for the Miami Dolphins, but you could roll out a Trey McBride or a Marvin Harrison Jr. as well. I'd have no problem with that, but my preferred stack here is stacking up Tua with Devon Achane. Get a little running back mix in there. I think he had 7 and 9 targets in the first 2 games with Tua under the helm, clearly involved in the passing game. Adding a running back usually allows you to differentiate your tournament lineups, and Tyreek Hill, I talked about this in my cash plays video. As long as Tua is healthy, this will be the cheapest we get Tyreek all year long. And then again, if you wanted to put in Jalen Waddle, I have no problem with that. James Conner sitting at a nice price of $6,500, but I like the high scoring potential in this game. And then another game stack that I like targeting here this week is this game between the Falcons and Buccaneers. Now, we're going to need the Buccaneers to keep pace in this game without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and I know that's asking a lot of them, but this is a high-risk, high-reward type of stack here, and if we look back just a few weeks ago, this game finished between these two teams 36-30. It was the best game to date that Kirk Cousins, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts have had, so I like stacking those 3 up together, and then running it back with a K-Dot in there, who's going to be super chalky this week at $3,500, but I think he could easily see 8+ targets in this game, and a solid spot against this Atlanta defense. So, again, we're going to need the Buccaneers to keep pace here, but I think people are kind of getting away from this game considering Evans and Godwin are out, so I'm going to lean into it just a little bit more because, again, we saw 66 points in this game just a few weeks ago. Minus Evans and Godwin, it changes things. Again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but if the Buccaneers can figure that out, we can get another high-scoring game here. We could be sitting nice in tournaments. Now, folks, before we dive into some of these individual plays and stacks here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. It's completely free to sub here on YouTube, and truly, every like, comment, and sub that you guys leave helps me out tremendously, and the faster we can grow this channel, the more content I'm going to be able to put out for you guys in the future. Alright, now diving into some of these individual plays and stacks here. You don't see Jordan Love on the spreadsheet, but another game stack that we could target here is absolutely that game between the Packers and the Jaguars. We could stack it up on either side, but a Jordan Love stack with 2 wide receivers, run it back with someone like Evan Ingram or Brian Thomas Jr. You can see both those guys on the spreadsheet. That is a game stack that I like too. Now, obviously, again, just kind of randomly spitting that out right now. Another guy that I like here at the quarterback position is CJ Stroud. I get it, Stroud has not played as well this year as he did in his rookie season, but he's back at home this week in a good matchup against Indianapolis, and it's not going to be long before he has one of those 25, 30+ DraftKings point performances. I think this could be the week here. We're still missing Nico Collins, so I don't love that, but in an interview earlier this week, not only did D'Amico Ryans come out and say, hey, we need to get Tank Dell going, CJ Stroud reiterated the same thing, saying we need to get this guy going early and often, so I like doing a stack between both of those guys, and actually, as I record this, I literally just got word here that Jonathan Taylor is going to be coming back for the Colts, so maybe you could run it back there with him, but otherwise a little mini stack between Stroud and Tank Dell. I'll be on that this week. Now, moving on to the running backs here, and I do want to recommend checking out my cash plays video that I posted earlier today because I highlighted a lot of the value running backs in that video, talking about guys like Breece Hall, Joe Mixon, Kareem Hunt, Javonte Williams, DeAndre Swift. Those guys will be heavily involved in my tournament lineups too, but I also wanted to kind of get away from those cash game running backs and speak into some other guys here that could be some solid tournament plays. First being Kenneth Walker, who's been super explosive in both the running and passing game this year for the Seattle Seahawks, and he's got a good spot against this Buffalo Bills run defense. So I like him at home at $7,800. I just talked about that Green Bay Packers offense and Jordan Love, and again, I love Jordan Love here this week. Yes, I just said that. He's going to be a cash game consideration for me, but let's just assume here that the Packers score 4+ touchdowns in this game. Would it be crazy to think that Josh Jacobs punches in 2 of those? You could be sitting nice with him in a tournament lineup, especially considering the price. And then 2 honorable mentions that I quickly want to talk about here. James Cook sitting in a decent spot against that Seattle run defense, and J.K. Dobbins playing against the New Orleans Saints. No other team has given up more rushing yards per attempt than that New Orleans defense this year. Now, diving into these wide receivers here, the first guy that I got is A.J. Brown, who's truly been elite in every game that he's played healthy so far this year, and he has that big play upside that we love in tournaments. He can score from anywhere on the field, just like Tyreek Hill, and at this price at $8,200, I think people are going to avoid that a little bit, but he could still hit 4x value at that price, and honestly, I kind of like this game in general for tournaments this week. There's enough offensive talent on both sides to where we could see a high-scoring game. Devontae Adams here got traded over from the Raiders to the Jets, had 9 targets and just 3 catches in his first game, but playing with his former quarterback and Aaron Rodgers, you know he's going to want to get him going sooner than later. And then speaking of this game here between the Eagles and Bengals, I like T. Higgins at this price of $6,500. Yes, Jamar Chase is still the #1 wide receiver in this offense, but T. Higgins leads this team in targets and target share and sitting at a really nice price there at $6,500. And then name dropped him already with Tank Dell. Love a little mini stack between him and CJ Stroud this week. Sounds like the Texans really want to get Dell going here. He's just not been super productive to start the season. And then 2 honorable mentions that I'll quickly talk about. Brian Thomas Jr. here, the Jacksonville Jaguars, has been solid as a rookie. #1 wide receiver in that offense. You could run it back in that game between them and the Packers. And then Amari Cooper here. He's just going to get better in this Bills offense as he starts to learn the playbook more. And at $6,000, again, if I'm shooting for 4 or 5x value, we all know that he can get there. And then I got a few tight ends that I want to talk about here quickly. First being Evan Ingram. Really good spot there against that Packers defense, who aren't afraid to give up some yards and catches to tight ends in the middle. I could see Evan Ingram having a solid day here at this price of $5,000. Same game, $4,600 here for Tucker Kraft. Been solid at the tight end position in that Packers offense. And then Hunter Henry has truly been great with Drake May under center for the Patriots, and a really good price tag there at $3,800. And then we'll wrap it up there with the defenses. I would not be afraid to spend up for the Jets this week, taking on a rookie quarterback in Drake May. Got the Ravens here taking on the Cleveland Browns this week. Got Jameis Winston, who should be throwing the ball quite a bit, and we all know that he's turnover prone. You got the Texans there taking on Anthony Richardson, who's just not been great this year for the Indianapolis Colts. And back at home here for the Texans, I kind of like them in this spot. And then the Bears, I love them at this price here at $2,700, assuming it's Marcus Mariota who starts at the quarterback position this week for the Washington Commanders. All right, everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great weekend here, folks, and let's win some money on this Week 8 NFL DraftKings main slate.